Right, so obviously we couldn't just leave it, right? We have to reach Zen levels of shenanigans and I guess wizard levels of complexity. So I think I'm going to say with 80% confidence that I've optimized this as best as we can probably get it, right? So we're actually using Velda instead of Victor too to stack up our seismic surges and then lead to just some absolutely insane blockage. So nice and easy. First off, we're just doing a bunch of setup, right? In fact, the setup for this is actually going to be a lot quicker than previous, right? Because there's a lot less to it. So we can do that, and then we can just play the starting stake for the gold and end our turn. So we don't even need the extra card, right? Pass, take the damage. And now for this turn, my mind has to boggle. We want to crack ourselves some time snaps. So we end up playing 3 Nourishings, and we will end up activating the gold. So the Ruby Amulet's fine, and then the gold. Beautiful, and that's perfect to play. So then we can go Nourishing, and since we're not breaking the chain, they're not hitting the graveyard, meaning we can play them all back to back and stack up the intellect. And then that's basically it. We're done with the setup, and now it's just playing as many cards as possible to create Seismic Surge. Hence why we're now going with Earthlore Bounty instead of Tectonic, right? And then Velda herself, since there's plenty of ways to make us draw and plenty of ways to make our opponent draw. So we'll move that up. The palms are going to break. Beautiful. And then I always forget this step, but the first thing I need to do is I need to use the Amulet of Ignition, but I have to set a hold priority, right? So that we can then use the Diamond Amulet in conjunction, get an action point, and then Helm for free, which is beautiful. I think at this point we can crack everything. So Time Snap, but I can't crack the energy part. I need to crack the Silver first. So we go Silver, the Down and Dirty, right? Silver, the Shelters, beautiful. 2 and 3. And the reason we're putting them in our pitch zone is because there's a few cards that cause us to suffer randomness, right? Potion of Luck being a nice big Seismic Surge generator. But if we're cycling these cards, which that we want to, end up playing in Down Dirty, we want to end up with it in the arsenal, then we can run into a lot of trouble. So we'll stick them in the pitch zone for now, and then we have our Deja Vu, hence the Wizardness, our Promising Terrain. Now, the Silver wouldn't trigger Earthlore Bounty. Earthlore Bounty only affects action cards, so I haven't misplayed just yet, but I'm sure there'll be a redo here or there. We can go Gorgonian Tome, and each draw is getting us 5? Where did I get the 1 from? Actually, where did I get the 1 from? Damn it, I did misplay. I don't know why, I should always just do this first. Promising Terrain, and then Grandeur gets us now 4 instead of 1 Seismic Surge. Beautiful, right? And then we can do the rest. So gold into the Shelters. 1, 2, and 3. Then the Down Dirty. And then we can start drawing, right? Which means we can crack ourselves the Energy Pots. 1, 2, and 3. And then the Time Snap as well, because that'll come in handy. And everything is on point. Good. Gorgonian Tome, so 8. Then this will be 12 if we target ourselves. Basically just a whole bunch of junk defense reactions in our graveyard for this exact purpose, right? Another burdens, target ourselves. Another burdens, target ourselves. Now this round's on me is a nice big Seismic Surge generator since it hits both us and our opponent, right? So 28, 36, 44, right? And then Cokes, since we have the Time Snap Potion, the first one has essentially Go Again, right? And we can use that to draw a card, both me and the opponent. And then from there, we can play the rest of them as sort of a cascade, since we have that Quicken token now. So some more Seismic Surge, followed by, you probably guessed it, some more Seismic Surge, into then Snatch off the Quicken. And then the second Snatch, we can use our Snapdragon Scalers, which definitely offers up more block than the base of the mountain, right? Then from there, we have 3 left, so we can go Mischievous Meeps. And each of these will draw on hit, since there's no items to steal. And now we still have our maximum hand size, which should be 8, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Beautiful. So from here, we go Potion of Luck. And there's one bad scenario. Is there one bad scenario? No, there's no bad scenario. I should be fine no matter what I draw. I need to find the sifts, right? The second sift is when we play the Potion of Deja Vu. So here, nice and simple, we have our 2 blue Relic of the Rearguards. Deja Vu allows us to stack it in our order, so it's fine. So we go draw a crowd off of the blue rally. Get a little bit more Seismic Surge. Again, both me and the opponent draw. I really hope this doesn't crash too, because this is not the easiest thing to line up. It is a full 80 card deck, right? And then we want to hit the other sift, so we sift. Doesn't matter what we hit, but we cycle 4, so we get the maximum. And then we go Potion of Deja Vu, and we want to end with these 5 cards on top. So basically just reverse order of what's here, right? So top, then top, then top. And the reason we want the Grandeur is because I have 1 more silver, which means I can cycle the Grandeur and get another 4, right? And then we go Sift. This doesn't shuffle, which is beautiful, so we should hit the 4 cards I want, and there's the crash. I don't know what does it. I think it might be the Seismic Surge generation, it might be the opponent's hand, or it might be the amount of times I undo. And I think it's the amount of times I undo, because I do undo a lot, right? Especially setting up the picker cards. But I'll try and get back to this point so we can see how much block, because it will be some insane numbers. Right, back to this point at least. So I'm not too sure what causes the crashes, but proof of concept should be fine, right? So we've cut out all the unnecessary cards, if you will, to get back to this point. I'm just giving myself resources and action points, but this should be correct. So then we close the combat chain, and we can Potion of Luck, right? And all we have to do is end up with the Sift back, or something close to that approximation. Draw a crowd off the blue, beautiful, and then sift away anything that's not blue, right? Get a whole bunch of Seismic Surge, then we go draw a crowd, get the other blue, draw a crowd, sifts, we get to Deja Vu first, and again go top, 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 with the down dirty being drawn off of the Grandeur, and then sift, and this is where it crashed, so fingers crossed. Beautiful, right? And then silver off the Grandeur, set up the 3 shelters, and then end by proccing our Sapphire Amulet, having an attack that we can defend with from the arsenal. There we go, right? So this should hypothetically be close to the maximum amount of Seismic Surge we should be able to generate. So the question is, how much are we blocking for? Wow. Down and Dirty starts off as 2 block and ends up as 491 block, right? 491 from Down and Dirty, but, you know, the real question is how much can we block in total, right? So Earthwall Bounty for a nice, easy extra 2, and then Rally, 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 and some more rallies. Plus, then, we can move to the next step, and we can go Amulet with Haven Call, get another rally, Haven Call, get another rally, Haven Call, get another rally, and obviously these are substantially better than either the Hoarding of Denial or the Mountain, right? And then just Potion of Ironhide to add on to it, which should also amount to more, right? It's 10 apiece per potion. So, yeah, 4,942 block with Valda. Beautiful. Well, there we go, right? Maximum block, or at least close to it, with Valda using the Mastery Pack Guardian cards and Palms from Super Slam. So, yeah, some pretty insane numbers. Obviously, no real applicability, right, to proper Flesh and Blood. Although, again, if we get a Shield Slam card that, you know, isn't just 1 damage if you're blocking with your offhand, but I don't know, at this point it could probably be a 20th of the damage, if not probably a 100th, right? And you could probably set up an OTK, that would be quite interesting. So, yeah. Aside from that, to me, it's the puzzle that's really fun and the deck construction. So once you figure out what you're trying to do when it comes to any deck in Flesh and Blood, not just craziness like this, it's then, you know, min-maxing, thinking about why this card is better than X other card in terms of value. For instance, we started off with Victor, and my mentality was nice and easy. It's easy enough to create gold. There's literally just a Fable we can pitch to then get 1 extra card in hand. But then, you know, again, Earthwall Bounty, Valda, Promising Terrain, so many ways to force ourselves to draw and our opponents to draw. It's just significantly more value overall. And then, you know, Sift, Potion of Luck, all these other weird, odd choices that didn't necessarily cross my mind the first time, but now, obviously, optimizing it, super huge amount. And we are in 80 cards. I took out all the hard to assemble pieces, if you will. So it is 80 cards exactly, hence why we had some empty equipment slots, but I'd assume it does amount to the maximum potential block. We're also, in a sense, high rolling, so the picker cards, I'm basically banking on them all generating 3 silver. That way we can get to that exact 6 silver to be able to pitch Grandeur, then the stuff we don't want to, you know, cycle. I did try this for so long without the Deja Vu and pitching stuff away, right? In fact, in a sense, you could probably get to more Seismic Surge, but then you have to basically roll absolutely insane, right, on the Potions of Luck, where the 3 shelters and the Down Dirty end up as basically the bottom barrel cards of your deck, or at least close to it, so that then you can draw through everything else effectively and sift to them, right? So I think in that scenario, it was 1 extra sift instead of the bigger cards, and maybe 1 other card as well, right, for setup. So yeah, potentially a little bit higher, but still, that was an insane amount of block, and yeah, it's always fun doing this type of deck construction. And again, the main showcase is the mechanics of Fab, right? And there are these fun, cool interactions, but even just trying to optimize a deck for Shelter, right, outside of getting to this insane amount is definitely something to think about, right? And then to factor in all these different cards. But we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed. See ya.